So welcome everybody. Welcome to the DYOR Media Network. Today with the Disco Burn Token, DBT Crypto Chit Chat. Got Jerry Berb, Cryptopreneur365 Master, and Carmen Crypto, ladies and gentlemen. So let's get to it.
Hello, Tom.
Hello, Carmen. Good to see you again. Welcome to this, where I am, beautiful Monday. You're in Vegas. It's probably beautiful, but it's probably 1,000 million degrees where you are.
A little bit. It's in the 103, 104 range, but there's lots of clouds. We get about a monsoon season for about a week out of the year. So the cloud coverage has been really nice, but out here in Las Vegas, we don't like it when it's muggy. So we're a little grouchy. But I like it. You know, I'm an islander. Sometimes it's nice to be reminded what humidity feels like.
Well, much of the Midwest of the U.S. has got you covered for that. But what is humid right now is the crypto market. The water in the air is kind of saturating everything, keeping everything from moving around a lot. And I have to say that there is light in the light at the tunnel. It looks like some fall storms or some fall systems are going to move in and kind of ease us out of this bear market, regardless of what the economy is doing and the Fed is doing and lowering rates or raising rates and kind of dragging down inflation and all that. It seems to be that there's some prospects in crypto because there's some new products coming out that, as we all know, crypto is innovating about as fast as any industry I've ever seen in my life. And thus, the new products catch up with the market and bring good products to market. Not only new products, but new ways to deliver them and new ways to market them and all those great things that you love to talk about on this show here.
Yeah, the speed at which things change. Oftentimes in movies, you need a montage to get through all of that information and fast forward. There's no montages. There's no there's no song that's going to take you. It's happening just like that. We did, see some rise in BNB over the past couple of days, which is to cause some celebration in the chats. There's always hope here in crypto. We know that during these times, it's good teams like this that go back to the education, to the content, to becoming stronger investors. That way, we're better prepared for the next time around. Plus, we need to understand that these times are always going to be there. They come back and forth, back and forth. So we have to all build those behaviors to understand how do we thrive every single day in crypto. That's the goal, right? No matter up or down, are we finding what we're passionate about? Are we understanding who we are? Lots of great things happening with DBT. Our Monday night huddles, we have turned into crypto chit chats. I have had such wonderful friends already come. This is our fourth series in a 16-part series. So tonight I have a very special guest. But before I bring him on, I just want to notate here, guys, we have 13 days left. Somebody's coming for me. I hear it. It's SEC coming. No, we have 13 days left in the month of July. At the end of this month, that means that you have 13 more days left of the 9% DBT tax. Remember, we are not running a competition this month. And even though we're not going to run a competition next month and our comeback season is for September, next month on August 1st, we're going to kick back on the Burn wallet. So we want that first, comeback
Burn,
season
baby,
as
burn.
low as possible. Woo. So next month on the 1st, we're going to kick back on the Burn wallet and we're going to let the Burn wallet fill up all throughout August and, of course, throughout the comeback season of September to make it super special. We are also posting the brand new application for the comeback season so that you can find your favorite projects and get them into the application process. Our vetting process is going to be a little bit more, it's gonna include some really cool things. We're gonna be announcing partnerships with a background check company, along with a special type of interview process
Yep.
to run our contestants through, on top of the vetting that the DYOR investigation team does, led by Wes. So things are only getting better, and we have tons of things to announce. But right now we're building. And so to make sure that we're giving you guys some value for sticking with us and being our ride or dies, I'm bringing in some really cool friends of mine, and this is no exception. I am so proud to call Jerry a friend. We have been friends for gosh, almost a year now, and crypto's coming up to close that. And without further ado, guys, I want to invite to the stage Jerry Berb from Cryptopreneur365.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jerry Berb.
Hi
There
guys.
you
Welcome,
are.
Jerry. Welcome to the show.
How you doing? Thank you so much for having me. We've always looked up to you, and now to be here is an honor. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jerry. Now, you know what? We're gonna get right into it, because this is probably my favorite part about knowing you is how we met, and it's always how I start off the show. And why don't you tell the story about how Carmen and Jerry met?
So, and I love this story too. I always look forward to talking about it. But very early on, when I was just starting out as an investor, I didn't necessarily know how to judge projects, and we were in I believe it was just moments before a pink sale started, and it would have been a fairly quick one. And so we were just in a room, and they were doing the typical hype. And if I remember, it was a project that you really didn't know any of the team. I mean, it was quick, it was happening fast. And right before it opened up, I remember a team of people came into the room, and they each sort of grabbed somebody in a sense. And they were quickly started to get banned. And I didn't necessarily know what was happening, but then I got a DM on the side from Carmen. She said, "Be careful, you're in a scam project. Don't buy it. This isn't going to go well." And I, at this point, had no idea what's even going on. And so I did take a step back, and lo and behold, the launch happened. And, it was a quick rise, but then an instant plummet, and everybody was wrecked. And this all happened under the hour. I hadn't even responded back to her yet, even. And after that, I responded to her, and then I was overwhelmed. I said, "Thank you." I didn't, I was beside myself. And that was the start of it. I've had nothing but the highest respect for her ever since. And I've met so many of the right people and the good people through her that I learned everything from her. And so,
Yeah, we
yes.
really gravitated towards each other. In fact, we had a conversation. We got on the phone. Now, before before I go into my side of the story, Tom, this was for Ultimate Doge. You're gonna recognize that name hands down. So this was the rip-off scam version of Kevlar. I'm triggered. Everybody in my community knows.
I remember.
You know, yeah, I know. Sometimes our journey is our journey, and we have to embrace it for what it is. I would not be here today with all of you had we not been through that experience. But Jerry and I really connected. We actually got on a phone call with one of your other partners, and you were like, like, this is my goal and my vision, and this is what I'm passionate about. And we stay connected ever since then. And I told Jerry, anytime you need anything, if I have it, it's yours. And he has treated me just the same. And I am so excited because in this time, both of us have just kind of like been on journeys, staying connected, and with me and my projects, and you and your projects, and today we get to come onto camera together and tell not just our story, but share with everyone the things that we both love. And I'm super excited to put you on stage and talk about your journey. So Jerry, what we love to do is understand life before crypto for you. What was your career like, and what led you into this space?
Um, Before crypto, it was, I like to say regular life, because I've sort of left that now, and I'm 100% into crypto. And that's a big statement too when you make that crossover. But before I, I was into businesses, different businesses, real estate businesses, construction businesses, but businesses that I actually owned. Um, I, I'm a graduate. I have two master's degrees, one in business administration, one in law. I've worked in the court systems as a mediator. I have a lot of real life, hands down contract negotiation experience. And with crypto, I started as an investor, but very quickly started to see that a lot of the things that I did in real life can transpose directly onto the space, and that might offer the space a benefit. And that's business in its most fundamental form. So that's how I really entered. But um, entry meant leaving everything else behind, closing all my other businesses, selling everything, because to crypto, it takes more than real business. I mean, if you're able to get by 10 hours, 12 hours a day running a real business, crypto wants 20, 24.
No sleep.
No
Yeah,
sleep.
crypto doesn't sleep. This is a global market, and there's a lot of different time zones. Just figuring out what UTC is a thing in itself. But so yeah, but I'm very happy, and it is an emerging market. It's in its infancy. That was partially why I made the biggest change. Um, there was a lot of different phenomenons, dot-com eras, mortgage business eras. A lot of things came by and went. I never took advantage of them, but crypto wasn't something I was going to allow to come and go.
Yeah, and I think we all feel that same sentiment. Like once you get exposed to it, you're like, there's something here, and it grabs you. And I have had so many people in the seat who outside of crypto have had wildly successful careers. And yet you're finding us leave that for this opportunity to thrive. And it is, to your point, more work. It's harder work than I've ever done in my life. There's no days off. You have to actually plan for that time. And it's not like walking away from a 9 to 5 job and saying, I'm going to take some PTO. I'll be out for a week or 2 weeks. This is, I need that day, so I need to prepare for that one day, right? There, but at the same time, I don't feel like I I feel such motivation, and I think that that's one of the common things that we've had because you and I have met in person out here in Las Vegas, and there's a vibe that happens when you meet good people in this space. You just know that the mission of what they're trying to accomplish, no matter the utility of their token, we've all said it many a time. The burden of projects and leadership in this space right now is not just to do the business that they want to create, but to educate as well. And with your token and your project, you've really like taken that on as one of the pillars of where you start building your community. So we're going to get to that, but let's rip off the band-aid. Now I saved you from one scam, but we've all been scammed many a time. So can you remember your first scam or talk about your most memorable scam and what did you learn from that?
Um, my most memorable one, truly, and it's the one that I always bring up, is I jumped in, aped in to a penguin project. It was to save the penguins in Antarctica. This was so early in my investment. I had no idea what anything was. And I always remember, that thing didn't even do anything, never even moved. I don't even think it was a real project. It was just a wallet address that was accepting BNB at the time. And so that one truly had to be. And then the best part about it was that you get to watch that wallet too on BSC, and you get to see what they do, where they don't do. And it sat there for a while, and then one day they pulled it. Be that as it may, a lot of that was what took me to come into crypto, because though there were those type of situations, there were still the situations where you got to meet people like yourself, our relationship, a lot of other relationships with people you otherwise don't know in this life. But through that, some of the best deals or interactions that you experience come out of there. And that was just, great to me. I really like that. And that's what took me to crypto as a business.
It does make you like take a step back. I mean, outside of crypto, before you step in, I figured myself out to be a very operationally sound, very detail oriented about the facts, very good at kind of weeding through the BS. And then I got into crypto and it's like, whoa, whoa. I wanted to get in and do what others were doing. So I was like, monkey see, monkey do. And that's how I got myself into stupid stuff like diamond balls and cosmic Inu, or unicorn token. And looking back now, I'm like, man, I should have been smarter. But, Is this really an experience that everyone has to go through? It shouldn't be the case. Not if there's enough of us getting out there, taking stage, and being a voice and an advocate about the right type of behaviors to come in so that people don't lose a lot, right? Because to your point, a lot of people just ape. They go, "Oh, I lost this much, so I got to double down or I got to make it up." And it's placing bets instead of making sound judgment investments based on good information or good standards or good behaviors. So that brings me to one of the things that I find most impressive about GRC, Gold Rush Casino. That's your baby. That's your project. But in order for your community to thrive, you found it very, very important to put up 8 rules, 8 behaviors, 8 expectations. The Cryptopreneur 8. I've asked Tom to kind of get it up on the screen with, that way we can visually see it. But these are really fantastic advices. And this is usually my next question when interviewing somebody for my chit chat. But Jerry, could you take us through why these particular 8 um, expectations or standards were pivotal in setting the tone for your community?
Um, so when we were designing the project and putting Cryptopreneur365 together, which started off as just a group of people who would look at projects, and we sort of taught ourselves how to look at these things properly. But the Cryptopreneur 8 was something that I wrote and I wanted to put it out, and that's the first thing we offer everybody who comes to our group, and it's something every investor should know, in my opinion. If I had known these things when I started, it would have been a different road. But nonetheless, it starts off in just that top paragraph to say that a lot of times after the scam was over, when the dust settled, I it felt wrong. It was so fast. I didn't feel like I was in control. I was being rushed, or it was just a manipulated feeling. And so first and foremost, no real project will do that. No real project will put you in that crunch. There'll always be a proper design by the team. You would have already been in the group. If you follow these rules, you'll bypass a lot of the stuff out there. But first and foremost, the first rule was to make sure a project is real. And there's a lot of easy ways to do that, is to verify who the owners are, who the devs are. It's not hard to find that stuff out in a real project. Two was understanding the project, seeing if the people who you met and the stuff that they had actually had a chance. I mean, at a certain point, a token can't get into space industry and start doing deliveries to the space station with no money, that type. Um, Number three was know the community, getting into the groups, the channels that they had, meeting other people, because those people were ultimately who you were investing in. I mean, when all the dust was settled and the people were gone, you were left in these communities with other people who were otherwise in your same situation for years, sometimes waiting. And so those are really your friends. Those are the relationships that you'll have through crypto. So get to know them early was something important. And a lot of times, some of them know a lot more details about possibly the owners or the founders, and just you'll get more information. Four was just really seeing the roadmap, understanding what a roadmap meant you sort of knew how long that leadership was even planning on doing something. Maybe they just had a 3 month or 6 month plan, and the rest was just we'll be on CMC and we'll have influencers, and so that's not a very promising company if they can't see very far down the stretch. Um, Understanding tokenomics, really seeing where that was going. In the beginning, I never really paid much attention to that, but that tells a lot about what a project is planning on doing. Where is the money going? What are they going to be doing with it? Is it just feeding the leadership? Things like that. Six was the most important, which that was something took me a long time to even understand, because nobody wants to talk about it. And I figured, beyond a lot of people's suggestion not to even put number 6 up, but I figured that was the fundamental of everything, is understanding liquidity. That's the lifeblood of a project. If that liquidity is gone, or if whoever's holding that liquidity is unknown or not reputable, or any of the circumstances that I've been through, there's no chance there. And once that liquidity is gone, the hopes of it coming back, people stay on for years on a channel where leadership is well abandoned and gone, not understanding that that liquidity not being there means this is dead, it's done. At that point, once you had these 6 down, now you had enough information to determine your own strategy, because this is investing and you really have to know what you're doing. I mean, gambling is in Vegas. You know, you have a room and you get drinks, and it's a whole different experience. But here, this is not gambling. This should be really treated seriously, because you do have a chance. And so at that point, you could make your own decisions, long run, short run. You see what they had to offer. And then number 8 was just sealing the deal, in that once you've made a firm decision and you need to ride that out now. You can't watch a chart all day. You can't let this bother your life, things of that nature. These 8, you know, once you got a firm handle on these things, crypto became different. And everybody who's come across these 8 has really said that to me. I've had a lot of I've gotten gift baskets because of this thing. So it's
As
really,
you should, because if you're coming in and you're riding the hype train and you're using TikTok to give you investment signals, then you need to become smarter. You need to go back to the education. And hopefully, there's a lot of us out there that are trying to, get as much of these points out as possible to help people, to take away the hype trains and to take away the aping in to scam projects, because the money can be going to really great projects that have a great mission, that have a great team, that are doing their part to set standards. Oftentimes, they're not trying to trick anybody. And unfortunately, sometimes hype is just that. It's grabbing your attention and bringing you in for, not a lot of value. They're spending a lot of their time and effort into just grabbing as many people as possible, because then the quantity is going to be there to moonshot that, and then it's either going to be short lived, or it's going to be a bad situation where you lost your money.
every single project that I lost and couldn't make it through the Cryptopreneur 8. If you put the Cryptopreneur 8 against any existing project, if it can't make it through the end, its future is probably not bright. It's a proven system. It's not just 8 things we threw, but there are a lot of projects that do make it full way through, and they are those that are in the successful region. They last, and so it was very important to us to just at least put that out there, because we ourselves, our project, should pass that test for you. And if they don't, then at least take the Cryptopreneur 8, and good for you.
I love that number one is know the team. Like, it should be fully doc devs. When somebody comes up, as brand new member in the DBT community, I do what I can the moment I see that they're there to welcome them. Hey, welcome to the family. They'll see that I'm a COO next to my name. If they want to ask me questions, oftentimes, and even just yesterday, I'll get a DM, because I'm already engaging them. And I want people to know that they have full access to us to ask us anything. Like, of course, I have a support team of mods and admins that can do that too. But I think it's important for leadership to show up. But I think it's very uncomfortable for a brand new person in this space to come into a chat and think that they can, like, realistically ask for the CEO. I want to talk to the owner of this project. It's not normal for us outside of crypto. And that's where we need to tell people and empower them that it's a little bit different. Of course, you're not going to walk into Macy's and say, I want to talk to the manager. We see that negative, right? I want to talk to the owner. We see that as like being too entitled. But this is your hard-earned money, and these are baby projects just growing, and you should have access. Now, can you go into, an Ethereum room and ask to talk to Vitalik? Probably not, right? Because they've grown. They're out of their baby infancy status. But in our space, these are you're getting excited for launches, you're getting on a white list, or maybe they just, started trading within the first 60 or 90 days. You should still have access, and those leaders should be happy to welcome brand new investors into their project as they continue on their roadmap to grow. So, and then liquidity is a great one, because unfortunately, not all of us can understand code, but there are tools out there that liquidity is right there, and you truly need to be able to read it to understand why does the chart move so erratically. Maybe the liquidity is low, right? And so any movement on the chart feels like a drastic move in price. Or maybe the liquidity is very heavy, and so there's not a lot of price impact even on a $10,000 buy. Or maybe the liquidity looks super sus. And sometimes you'll look at it and you won't know right away that there's a whole nother chain that it exists on too, and that's where majority of its liquidity lives on. So yeah, you do have to understand those things, and it's not absolutely too technical, but it's smart to know, and it's one of the key factors in determining whether or not you should invest. So I agree with that as well, and I don't often see that on lists.
No,
So good job there.
thank you.
Now, you've obviously gone into crypto 24/7. So you've left your previous career. What do you see as the future of Web3 and blockchain? What gets you excited?
Um, First and foremost, it changes every 3 months. So as these smart contracts and developers are getting more knowledgeable about what can be done with these things, and projects are getting more creative, they're starting to meet more real world or similar to what we're already used to it, but now they're coming in the form of crypto projects. That'll happen. Um, and there's a lot to come. Metaverse obviously is going to come, and a lot of emotion will happen. We'll now start to see where all these NFTs are going to live, and how all these tokens or currencies are going to really play in a different world. So I'm really excited about all of that. But I'm I sort of feel like crypto is in a evolution, in a sense, where the the more teams like yourself and teams like ourselves follow, and we start educating more and people start getting wiser, there's a shift happening from people just looking into the project at face value and really starting to put an emphasis on the team behind it. Because like you said, that with that Macy's, to walk into Macy's and ask for the CEO is one thing, because it's a very proven company that he no longer needs to show his face, nor does Vitalik. Ethereum is Ethereum. But small projects just starting, it's so important that, yes, all of leadership is there at all times, and they're ready to talk to the smallest investor to the biggest investor, because it's ultimately, people will start investing in leadership or the teams above and beyond the projects, because they're starting to see that a team, if it's solid, they can not only put out one project but keep evolving with the space and bringing more projects that are up and coming, because now they have a community, and the community ultimately is the most important thing to a crypto project, which is something that I'm currently sort of trying to write a little paper on. That it amazes me to see how some projects mistreat a community after growing it, after growing a big, strong community where these people will even stick around for a year and
Hmm.
continue this chat, and just continue this project that leadership otherwise abandoned and left. So it's amazing to me that after you grow something like that, how do you mistreat them? How do you mistreat that? So I believe that the future of this, that it is actual people. I mean, put the robots aside and all the stuff that happens. Investors are real people. We're around the world. We're all the same. We started here with very similar stories. And so ultimately, as crypto meets more of the world, it's going to go to the basis that people understand. And that's how to trust another person, how to trust something that another person is going to do. And that evolution is what I'm really excited to see. And that's why I believe you'll start to see a lot more docs, real, dedicated teams, not just, you know, hidden, where you really don't know if this is just one person in a garage moonlighting this.
Yeah, and we have found like-minded people, and we've made sure that we keep those circles like very trusting. And one of the things that I love, that part of my journey of growth in this space, to gain more trust, or to feel like, because there were some devastating times for me where I lost a lot of trust and I felt like I could not do this and I wanted to walk away. And I'm sure there are days that if you're in the audience listening to this, you've had a bad investing day, you got honey potted, you got rug pulled, or you were on a team just like me and things went really bad. There's times where we may want to give up, but there's some really great people in this space, along with the bad. And what we have found, you and I have met in person. I've met my leadership team in person with my CEO and CTO Wes, and I've met my dev, and you've met my dev because he's your dev too. So shout out to Matt from Rebel and True DeFi. I always like to bring him up, especially if the two of us are on camera, because he's been a really great resource when it comes to the technology and who we trust to build a mission, to build a project, which is huge. That empire can fall if the technology is not safe. And for a lot of us in this space, we kind of come at this with a skill set of business development, operations. A lot of us are not coders. So to find that person out there who's not going to cash grab us for, costing too like big amounts for contracts that are just forked or just copies, but something that's really going to matter to the mission and to the project and be unique. Um, Matt's been your developer as well, and I know he's probably watching, but he knows that we're always a big fan of his work, and we can only thank him over and over and over again on every show for doing what he's done because it allows us to be brave enough to go do the business without the worry of, is something going to go wrong? Is that person going to disappear? Is there bad code in it? And you've met him in person, I've met him in person, and I think that that's what we're doing in this space as leadership, to kind of make sure that we're not putting our communities at risk when we want them to come and invest in our vision. If we trust them and we can prove that we've taken the steps to vet and to edify and to build credibility and a trusting relationship with that entity, it's going to matter to the community. So tell me about your project, Gold Rush Casino. Why a casino, and what is it that led you into that? And what do you see your project contributing to this space?
Um, Definitely, I do want to put out there Matt Kavanaugh. Not only him himself, but he puts a team together of some of the best devs this space has seen. And these aren't just guys who copy contracts or who, everybody knows out there that you can get $100 contract. They're very simple to get, but these guys are patenting the future of crypto as we speak. They're designing actual real world industry specific contracts that many industries will adopt in the future. So, like I say, a team and the leadership involved, or the entire team of a project, is really what people are investing in. And I'm very lucky, from Matt to everybody down to the mods in our channel. Everybody is a strong link in their own self. But Matt and the team, the development on this project, GRC, is above and beyond. I was extremely lucky, and thank you, because that was through your channels. And so everybody that's a part of, your whole family, your whole network, is everybody that we look to honor to work with. And so GRC, Gold Rush Casino, Cryptopreneur365, when we decided, okay, it's time to enter the space, we wanted to give people a very good token. It was sort of designed by investors for investors, and it's one of these new 12% BUSD rewards paid in BUSD. 12% rewards paid in BUSD, not a reflection of the native token. And we needed a utility, and we saw that play to earn was going to be very popular in the upcoming trends. And so we ourselves purchased our own software with our own developers, programmers, and put out very nice platforms, Poker Room, 22 casino style games. And we're about 3 weeks from launch, and it's all ready to go. We're letting people inside right now. We invite you guys to come have poker tournaments. We have tables with your logos on them. And so we're real excited. The project itself, everything has been really, a lot of time has went into looking at long-term, short-term. It's designed for every investor's appetite. It actually pays. It's a passive income tool. And so as our first project, our flagship project, we're really proud of it. We worked tirelessly for it. And we're looking forward to its success. We're growing a community right now, piece by piece, brick by brick. And we really pride ourselves in the channel that people get to come. We want to know how you are. You know, we want that community. We want that interaction. And so that's what we're doing. We're building right now. And we're honored to come here today and have this chance to speak to you guys in your community. Thank you so much, Carmen and Tom.
You're so welcome, Jerry. Now, I want to highlight a couple of things that I really love about your approach because you and I have been connected for so long is that you did not throw this project together and then just go, go, go. You know, this was something that you really took every single milestone in the preparation of what it's going to look like. This is only your flagship project. So there's more in the background that's happening that's to come. And even like, let me explain to everyone who's listening. Jerry doesn't rush to do anything, he's about quality. So even though we are not going to see the official launch until August, even last month he was doing AMAs. So he understands from his experience and what he's observed in this space that building the community first and building that trust and a camaraderie between the investors that are behind this mission and excited for what's to come, he's building that and he's bringing more people in and he's taking his time to get his message out there. So I've listened to you go into AMAs and you spread them out so the frequency is consistent and you're finding more and more people like exponentially coming into your community so that it's not like going to be damaged by a pump and dump effect where you oftentimes see that projects say, okay, we're going to launch on this day. So we're going to do all our AMAs for 7 days in advance. Or we're going to do it 2 days in advance and roll through the 2 days after launch. And that can be really exciting. And yes, people in this space do want like hurry up right now. But if you're really looking for smart investors that want that excitement of I got here first and I want to build my friendships and I want to learn more and I'm not going to rush it. To your point, when you're talking about the 8 standards, nobody's going to rush you if they're doing the right thing, right? This is a business and you're treating it like that. Now, one of the things that I love about your casino is that you're not using your native token for the project as the form of payment in order to gamble or place bets in the casino. So explain for the viewers listening, what does holding your token give in value and how does the passive income work when you're taking BUSD in the casino?
And so, exactly to that point, the project was even completely paid for. The entire utility, everything was paid for. Every money, every dollar that is collected, or all the investments made by investors is locked up for liquidity. So it wasn't to, we didn't ask to raise funds to do something. We did it already, and we're launching the project. And with that said, the coin itself doesn't play because that's a dilution. It'll dilute the token over time. So the token holding it is a passive income tool. If you know what to do with BUSD, simply by holding GRC, you'll be rewarded BUSD based on the transaction taxes. It's 25% total, 10% in, 15% out, but 12% of that 25 is rewarded to holders in BUSD. And the casino plays with BUSD. So in design, it was to take the BUSD, do whatever you want with it, or go to the casino and try your chance at making more BUSD. Or certain games, lotteries, Keno, raffles would pay out, redistribute GRC, because the utility was that on a regular basis, the casino will take its profits and purchase GRC. Sometimes this is known as like a buyback and burn, but in ours, it won't burn it. GRC will buy the token and it'll redistribute it in the form of certain games. But other than that, most of the casino games, like 20 of them, will play BUSD in and out. And it was a very nice pack, and we put a lot of time into it. It's ours. We monitor it, we watch it. So it's safe. It's probably fair. That's a term, meaning which every hand you'll be able to check back on the blockchain to verify whether it was played on the probability that the game suggested, meaning which that the game wasn't edged. And so certain casinos do have that out there, and they're of the top tier. And so just like that, we'll be providing that to them. And one thing I wanted to touch upon was everybody is in it. They're sort of with this evolution of more projects coming out and more education. I'm starting to see certain concepts come up like this is DeFi or this is decentralized, and that there shouldn't be a controlling leadership. But I want to say that the DeFi part of it is the cryptocurrency. The autonomy is in the investor. You're transacting a currency in a decentralized space. There's no name, there's no account number to your wallet. But it's impossible for a project to get anywhere without leadership being centralized, being accountable, not being autonomous. You can't run a project in different silos where nobody knows each other and there's no accountability. And so as more projects start to show their faces and more education is out there, that I believe will start to be defined a little better, that the DeFi or the decentralized is in the crypto space, but project owners and project leadership, that has to be a centralized effort like any business, or you're not going to get anywhere. The investors will not have a chance. So
Yeah, it's been like really motivational in this space. It almost feels a little squirrely for me because I see so much potential to use the transparency that the blockchain provides, the quickness in transactions, right? The volume of transactions that could potentially happen in a short amount of time, the quickness at which you can liquidate your holdings, or even, if you know what you're doing, you can onboard really easily too. And we all love those things. And when you come from a background where you're a business mindset, it's so hard in this space to have so many resources at your disposal, because the moment that I meet somebody with an entrepreneurial spirit who's learning the blockchain, who says, I have an idea for this, I mean, like, I just wear my heart out on the sleeve and I want to see them succeed. And I see so much potential for so many things that are not using Web3 and the power of the blockchain. And I'm like, man, we could do this better, right? And it's going to cause so many people to be able to thrive, because outside of this space, you got to go to the bank. You got to, find a brick and mortar. You got to set up digitally, and you may not be in the type of circles where you have the best of the best resources. You're using like third-party tools that are do it yourself type of thing. Like, that's as good as it is. But here, things can come together fairly quickly. And if you cultivate the relationships right, we have an opportunity to help a lot of people out there like see their dreams potentially come true. And I want to see that for so many people in this space, going to, conferences where you're seeing the government and their ideas, and you're like, I see this as private sector. This is us saying, I have a dream. I want to do this. I want to build a community around that. And even if it was truly about saving the penguins, guess what? The blockchain can do that.
I
We
thought so.
shouldn't have scammers. I know I want to save the penguins, but yeah, this is one of the most interesting times to be in this space. I know for a fact that what we experience today is just the tip of the iceberg. It's not going to look like this at all. I think we are in like landline times, and we haven't gotten to the iPhone 1 yet. And it's super exciting because the more time that we spend in this space, like, we're going to remember the one whole year that you and I first met, and we're talking about, you should at least know the leaders of the token, and you should know what liquidity is. Those things will be so basic. In fact, I was on a Twitter space and we were talking, we're like, these kids who are playing Roblox, they're our future. They're probably the kids that once they get adult money, they're the ones that tip and pivot us into mass adoption, because to them it's like nothing. I had my boyfriend's son come out last night with his Oculus, and he said, Dad, I need like $10 for this token. It's called Rec Token. And to me, like, all these bells and whistles were going off. But no, it was a fiat on ramp. He was in some, universe or whatever, playing with somebody, and he needed skins. But those guys are gonna get it. Like these guys are going to get it. We won't have to explain it. Right now, we're trying to bring in as many powerful people that have real competencies in business to help us thrive. So we need to build teams. We need diversity amongst our teams. We need to think about those things as well. Like, do we have females? Do we have multiple ethnicities? Do we have, all different types of people to make sure that we are as balanced as possible to get the most success together, to build communities that really like mirror what we want to see in terms of equality and community and togetherness and thriving together. It's that WOG me mentality. We're all going to make it, but we all have to stop being little ape monkeys and getting into things for 2 times gain, and instead put our money into real projects that are going to contribute real big things. Our thing here at DBT and DYOR is education. You're adding that layer to your casino. You're also bringing people an opportunity for passive income and a fun experience, right? On the blockchain with
Yes.
more transparency. I mean, they always walk away from casinos and say the house is always going to win, and there's no way to prove it. I mean, some people just accept the loss and say, it wasn't my day. They're really sitting there for luck. But when you add the blockchain and the transparency of checking out what that transaction looked like, did it play to the probability as expected? That's great. That's going to change a lot. And there's big boys out there that they're not even thinking about this yet. They're still thinking about whether or not they want to digitize their loyalty cards and not have people have printed cards that they put into the machine. So we are really ahead of the game, even though we might be smaller entities for now. But this is where the giants are made. So I'm so glad that we met and that we've continued to be friends and that we found great circles of resources because I think we're only going to thrive from here. And you've come into this show today and given a lot of great advice for new people out there that I hope if you're watching and you've got a friend or a family member or a coworker or somebody within your circle that doesn't understand what you do and how much you love crypto, maybe send them this and send them to the Cryptopreneur365.com website, because just those 8 basic standards of what to look for before you invest is gonna really help somebody. And you can just send them straight to that site. I trust Jerry, and he's been a great friend to us here at DBT. Thank you for all that love.
Thank you so much. And we'll be out for PulseCon in September. Definitely see you guys again. Much love. Thank you so much for having me today.
You're so welcome, Jerry.
You too, Tom. Thank
Well,
you so much. And Tom,
thank you very much.
Tom interviewed me after that ultimate Doge, and after I talked, and then I talked to Tom because he was interviewing people who were a part of that scam.
Right.
So you guys are truly the Blue Angels. You still are. So
Yeah, I
thank you,
saw
guys.
when you reached out to me just the other day. It's like, hey, it's been a while since this conversation. I was like, aha, ultimate Doge.
Exactly. Exactly.
Those are the good days. And sometimes, if you've got time and something's going to be a scam and you're in that VC, do something good. Be kind. Go out and help somebody. I always say, if you want to tell somebody about what you're most passionate about, let's say you want to talk about GRC Casino or you want to talk about DBT or DYOR or Rebel or True DeFi, go out there and help somebody and then make a friend and then build that trust. And from there, they'll be more open to hearing about great projects like what we want to offer to the community in this space. And our doors are always open. You do not have to buy our tokens in order to get all the great content that we're giving to you. But hopefully, through all of that, you'll find value in it and you'll find that you are moved to come and contribute to help keep us going and give us longevity within this process as we continue to bring the greatest things to crypto, because we want to become the most diverse community here. And so we constantly are looking for great partnerships, collaborations, and other communities to give our content to, because all together we will get there. And there's a lot of people out there that haven't heard our voice yet, and we want to be that helping hand to get you in and get you in safely.
Thank you.
Well,
Tom, you
well
gonna
said.
take us out tonight?
I will. Once again, everybody, thank you so much for joining us for this 4th episode of 16 of the DBT Crypto Chit Chat series, in which we bring you innovative people in the space, and Carmen elicits all the good information out of them so we can use it ourselves. Anyway, thank you very much to Jerry Berb for coming today. As you know, the DYOR project and DBT and all of the people that we associate ourselves with try so hard to educate people, and Jerry has joined that space with his 8 fundamental ideas, and I highly suggest everyone goes to his website, Cryptopreneur365.com. Its website has been scrolling on the screen the whole time, and you'll find it all over social media. But to reiterate those, make sure you know the project well. We've all invested in ones that we didn't know and got hammered for it. Understand the project. How many did you say? I invested. I don't know what they do. Yeah, did you make a lot of money? No, you didn't. Know your community. As you know, going through all of this, when you have a good community, you know it, you feel part of it. There's much less chance of a scam going on when you have a good community. The roadmap is critical to everybody. Number 4 is the roadmap. Understand it. See where they're going. See if it matches your investment strategy. And understanding tokenomics. I didn't understand them when I started, and I had a particular trading strategy in which I thought I made tons of BNB, and I lost money because I didn't take into account tokenomics. Liquidity. You've heard me up here talk all about liquidity over and over again for a long time, and still it's a topic that I learn something new about just about every time I talk about it. So everybody should at least learn the basics of it. Check out some of my old videos about it, or come and ask questions on these shows. And determine your own strategy. As Jerry said, determining your own strategy. Everyone has their own buy points and their own sell points. Know yours and trust your decision when you do that. But most importantly, we want to talk about the new products. Jerry went over how new online casinos are operating without having to use the project's native token and just trade in underlying stable coins or fiat here. I didn't quite catch that. But one of the things that does, from what I caught for that, it lowers the fees and the gas from going in and out of tokens. Yet, they're still going to use the profits to buy the token and pay BUSD rewards. That's the summary of the evening, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments, and we'll get to it eventually. See ya.